You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Cody Pennick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison. Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that says when you're here, you're family. Family. I'm Sam.
I'm Cody.
I'm Dom.
And I'm driving a car fast. Maybe furiously.
All three of us are driving cars. We're going fast.
Jumping gorges and the shark.
Yep.
I feel like those movies probably jumped the shark like
a couple movies ago. But we'll get into that. So thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over, but first let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
That's the sound I make when I drive fast. And you know what? I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to get right into my first check 'em out. I have watched F9: The Fast Saga.
Twice.
10th. Twice, yes. I'll get to that. But it's the 10th movie in the Fast and the Furious franchise.
And the only one named after a key on the keyboard.
Right. I've made that joke as well. And, okay, so I don't really believe in guilty pleasures. I think, if you like something, you like it. There's no, guiltiness to stuff that you would, legitimately enjoy. The Fast and the Furious films have reached a level of ridiculousness that I have not seen in a mainstream film franchise.
It's like
ever.
It's like action movie like Sharknado.
It's
yeah.
It's pretty wild. So the bullet points of this film is it's the continuing adventures of Dom Toretto and the car crew.
The car boys.
The car boys, basically, yeah. As they do more international spy work.
Is there more than one girl, or is it still just Michelle Rodriguez?
There's two. It's Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster, who plays Dom's sister.
Wasn't Gal Gadot in one of those?
She was in 3 of them, and then was killed off.
Oh.
Yeah. And
they'll find a way to bring her back if she wants to do it.
Listen, they blew up Han in Tokyo Drift, and they brought him back for this movie by saying, "Oh, I faked my death." It was very convincing. They hand wave it. This movie is nothing but hand waving of ridiculous concepts. So yes, these these normal people who are underground street racers go do spy work because that's how they're qualified, by being underground street racers. And you find out that Dom Toretto has a secret unknown brother who's an evil spy. Ooh. And it's John Cena.
It's not just Vin Diesel with a beard.
Yeah, I wish. I wish
and
it were
an
Vin
patch.
Yeah, I wish that were the case. But
or wearing a wig.
But no, so yes, that's right. The man whose main focus throughout all the movies is how much he loves his family has a heretofore unspoken about brother that you never see or hear about up until this point.
That's why he's played by John Cena.
Because you can't see him. Yeah. So they this movie is exposition and hand waving and everything. Charlize Theron is back in this as the evil Cypher, who was the villain from the last movie and is rumored to be getting her own spin-off movie about hacking. Wow. And she has a throwaway line about, "Wow, Jacob Toretto, I've looked into Dom Toretto's bloodline, but I never would have known that there was a Nordic strain," to explain why he doesn't look Latino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like that. There's a character named Roman who is
That's worse than not explaining it.
Exactly. There is a character named Roman who has turned into the comic relief character of the films. And to wave away how they do so many crazy stunts and no one ever gets hurt, he goes, "Have you ever thought about how many crazy stunts we do and we never get hurt?" And then they go, shut up. That's fine.
Everyone looks at the camera.
Kinda, yeah. It's like, I was shot at 12 times and didn't get hurt. Are we invincible? And they're like, nah.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Our contracts say we can't lose fights.
Pretty much, yeah. So, so there's this whole giant thing with a hacker MacGuffin that they have to get 2 parts of a weird space orb that looks like a 10-sided die, and then they need
It's the holocron, so they can get to Exegor to find the Emperor.
Right, and then they need to get an Asian teen ninja who secretly has the genetic code to unlock the space orb in order for John Cena to control all computers or something. Listen, the plot doesn't really matter. There's explosions and car stunts that make no sense. At one point, they have a car that drives up the side of a mountain because the suspension bridge has broken, and they need to get up the thing. So they're driving almost vertically straight up because physics don't matter.
Do you think
nothing matters
when they write these? They're just recording like 8-year-old boys playing with Hot Wheels and then making a script based on what they made up.
Sure.
instead of throwing darts at a board, they have Hot Wheels cars that go down a track and land in like a skee ball hoop.
Yeah, there is a definite Axe Cop feeling
That's what
to some of this stuff.
Yeah,
like just people just going, what if it's not let's make a story and fit cool scenes around it. It's what kind of neat stunts do we want to do, and then we're going to try to connect them from one to the other. And you know what? I don't care. It's stupid and it's great. I mean, it's not good cinema. It's terrible.
When did they stop being about street races? Like
like the third or fourth one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah, as a comparison, I also went back and watched the first Fast and the Furious movie to see where it started and to see where it's ended up. It is like watching 2 entirely different franchises of film, because the first one, it's a lot of like, talking about car parts and family drama, and you know what the big...
Oh, and one's an undercover cop.
One's an undercover cop. Do you know what the original inciting criminal activity Dom Toretto and his crew are performing in the 2001 film Fast and the Furious?
Are they stealing cars?
They are stealing TV DVD combos.
Wow.
From the back of semis.
Man, the DVD players in those things will break so fast.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That's all it was. They were using their car skills to hijack and steal TV, DVD
electronics.
Electronics.
They were
consumer-grade electronics, and that's it.
They were boosting electronics. It's what the Foot Ninjas were having teenagers do.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, yeah, it's the Foot Ninja thing from... Yeah. What I will say is this movie also has a Smash Brothers Ultimate feel to it, because much like Smash Brothers Ultimate, everyone is here. There have been so many people within tangentially related to the Fast and the Furious franchise that they can just pull whoever they want and just be like, hey, it's that guy. Helen Mirren is in this movie. She plays Deckard Shaw. Oh, what's his name? Jason Statham's mom.
Oh.
And she shows up for a scene. Cardi B and her crew of lady spies are in a scene.
What franchise? What part of the movies are they from?
Well, technically none, but she does mention something about stealing gasoline in the Dominican Republic, which was the plot of Fast and the Furious 4.
So she's angling for a spinoff.
She's angling to be a bigger part of the next one, because there's not only going to be a Fast 10. Fast 10 and Fast 11 are being filmed at the same time, and it's a 2-part finale, much like the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 and the Twilight 1 and 2.
So you could say they have 2 sequels on the fast track.
They are fast tracking 2 sequels, yes. They brought back the guys from Tokyo Drift, only this time, instead of being high school street racers in Tokyo, they're rocket scientists.
I mean, the education system in Japan is very advanced.
It's bad. Also, you guys are sitting down for this. They drive into space in this one.
Do they just get a really big ramp? Or
Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris drive a Ford Fiero into space, and they Tokyo drift into a satellite to stop the bad guy.
Okay,
while wearing deep sea diver suits duct taped together.
as spacesuits.
They mention the minions because at one point after they Tokyo drift into the satellite, they wave down the space station, the International Space Station,
Oh.
and say, "Hey, let us in. We're humans." And someone in French says, "Why do they look like the minions?" Because their deep sea diver suits have inflated, and it's comical. Also, flashbacks. There are a million flashbacks
Wow.
in this. What I will say is the guy that they got to play young Dominic Toretto, like 19-year-old Dom Toretto, looks and sounds like he could be
19-year-old Vin Diesel.
He looks like it.
He looks and sounds like he could be in a commercial for Street Sharks.
He loves those Street Sharks so much. No, he does look like him. And I mean, you see the inciting incident that causes him to go to prison, which he mentions in the first couple of movies. And also young John Cena's there, and he's 1.5 feet shorter than he is now, despite being at the point of, natural development that you would stop growing. Whatever.
He had a very late onset growth spurt. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I haven't even brought up the magnet cars yet. They have high-powered super magnets in all of their Dodge Chargers that they drive around and basically throw cars through buildings using magnets.
Because how do they work?
I was waiting for it. Yeah.
Wasn't that a plot point some point in Breaking Bad about magnets?
Maybe, but not to the level of this. At one point, they stop a super train or a super semi by magnetizing 2 cars to their front tires, and then both the Vin Diesel and John Cena pushing on the brakes real hard, turning their cars into their own brakes. And then it basically pile drives the super truck.
What point does it make? Is it not a normal semi truck and a super semi truck?
Yeah, what makes it a super truck?
Oh, because it looks like the Batmobile from Batman Begins.
Okay.
It's all angular
Or,
and bulletproof.
Or Robotnik's truck in the Sonic movie.
Yeah. You know what? It does. It's that. If they spray painted it black, that would.
It was already black.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, then that's what it is.
I need to watch Sonic movie.
You
I still
do.
have not
It's
seen
a
it.
good movie.
It's legit. It's fine. It's good.
It has no business actually being as good as it is.
Yeah. I can't wait till they do the second one
know.
because they don't have to set anything up and they could just do crazy stuff. They could do whatever.
They could be speeding around at the speed of sound.
Yeah.
It's got Tails and Knuckles in it, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, you do see some echidnas in the first one.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, F9, the Fast Saga. If you like blunt stupidity,
Blunt force stupidity to the head.
Yep. Then I would say go for it. It's worth your time. It's absolutely worth your time.
Don't expect anything too deep.
No. And that's, you know what? That's a good thing.
I mean, to be fair, I guess I can't say much because that's why I love the Pacific Rim movies because they're just dumb.
They're not trying to be deep. They're really not trying to be deep. There is one thing that makes me a little bit squidgy in this film. So the actor Paul Walker, who played Brian in the first 7 Fast and the Furious movies, unfortunately passed away in a car accident years ago, and they historically they had to reshoot a lot of Fast 7 and basically like CGI inserted him to the final scene and made in the movie was a tribute to him, and that's very nice. But it led to an issue in which his character is still alive within the movie franchise.
Universe.
So they are constantly referencing that, oh, he's home watching the kids. Even worse, the very end of the movie, and I'm going to spoil the end of the movie because who cares? It's a Fast and the Furious movie. So they're at the Toretto household that is being rebuilt for like the 3rd or 4th time, and they're at a backyard barbecue drinking.
It's like the Wayne Mansion.
Kinda, yeah.
It keeps getting broken.
It keeps getting blown up and everything, and getting rebuilt. And they're at a backyard barbecue like you do, and they're drinking their
You're with family.
and they're drinking their Coronas because that's the only beer that you're allowed to drink in Fast and the Furious universe. And they're all sitting down, and young Brian, Dom's child, is about to say grace. And they say, "Wait a minute, there's one seat open." And then you see Paul Walker's iconic blue sports car whip into the driveway real quick, and then it cuts to black. Like they're continuing the ruse in which his character is still alive while the actor has passed on, and it feels weird.
Yeah.
It feels really weird.
You think they'll do like a Grand Moff Tarkin?
Oh no! Well, they've done that once. For one shot, they superimposed Paul Walker's head onto his real life brother's body for one shot at the end of F7. What I believe is going to happen is, because the movies are kind of moving into their end game a little bit, there's going to be a pre-credits thing or early in the next movie where Cypher, Shirley's Throne, or some other villain is targeting Dom Toretto's crew, and the first thing that's going to happen is Paul Walker's house is going to get blown up or something.
It's going to cut right back to him sliding into the driveway, and then it blows up. And you'll see like a funeral scene or something. Dom now has stakes and is like, I'm doing this for Brian. Yeah.
It's like that scene in the RoboCop remake.
Oh yeah, where all of
because it was
his
car and just gets blown up.
Yeah, his hand and his heart and his face.
Yeah.
That freaked me out in that new RoboCop movie.
Yeah.
Where they were like, do you want to see how much of you is left? And they like remove all of the robot bits from him, and all that's left is a hand and a heart
and his
brain and his face, like over top of like a clear brain shell. Basically, it was weird.
Yeah. It is a weird movie.
So anyway, F9. That's that. The other thing I checked out, I finished Super Metroid, the classic Super Nintendo game, for the first time after getting it 20 plus years ago. And this game's great.
It's a great game. Yeah.
It's very good.
It's one of the best.
Yeah.
Around.
And we were talking before the show how, it's amazing how much storytelling they're able to do with almost no dialogue.
Yeah. There's just some up in the beginning, and then the rest is dialogue free, while also being one of the most fulfilling endings of any game of that era.
The ending is fantastic. Metroid, the story of space bounty hunter Samus Aran goes to the planet Zebes, or I don't know how to say it, fight bosses, get power-ups, save the day.
Roll into a ball.
But just the gameplay is just outstanding. And it was kind of funny while playing through it. This time around, I got stuck in the exact same spot that I got stuck in 20 years ago. But now I have the benefit of going online and looking up a guide and saying, oh, this is just a hidden wall that you have to know where it's at or you're stuck. And now I can complete the game.
There's a point in Meridia where every time I play through it, and I play through it every couple of years, I always get hung up. Meridia is the worst and slowest part of the game.
It's the worst part of the game, yes. And unfortunately, it takes place so late in the game that it's kind of a quick kind of, it gets better as soon as you're out of that area. Yep. But like, it's, Anyway.
Also, the boss, Fantoom, the boss of the wrecked ship, sucks.
Yes.
He's the worst boss in the game.
Yeah. I do like the boss of Meridia because you can cheese him out by using your grapple hook and electrocuting yourself.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, that's really smart kind of gameplay.
My favorite boss is Croco Meyer, the red guy that melts in the acid.
Then he comes back as a skeleton
and then just falls over.
Yeah, that's super great.
It's a great game. It's on Switch Online. If you got that, there's no reason why you shouldn't play it.
Yeah, that's what I played it on, and ended up didn't get under 3 hours, but I got under 10 hours, which is the middle ending, I guess.
I think that's what I got. I think I got just under 2 maybe, but it wasn't like a good one. Like she took the helmet off.
Same with mine. Yeah. So anyway, that's my check 'em outs. I kind of dominated this section,
right.
But if you guys
dominated,
have anything, I Dominic Toretto this segment.
I got a couple quick ones.
All right.
On my continuing quest of magical girls. I know, it sounds terrible.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the final season. We're in the final season of Starverse: The Force of Evil.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good series. I love that series so much. Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Is this your second watch through?
Sort of like 1.5.
1.5. Okay.
Because there was a point where I was watching it on TV when it was new, and then I fell off of it.
Well, there for a while we talked about it a lot.
Yeah,
weekly.
we did. Yeah, because I was watching it weekly when it was new.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It definitely feels like it's gearing up toward its end game or whatever, which it does after the 4th season. But they finally put Owl House on Disney Plus.
Yay! Did you watch all of it?
No.
Oh.
We're a few episodes in. She hasn't. I mean, she's gone to. Luce has gone to. She snuck into the magic school. That's about as far as I'm at.
What is Owl House?
Owl House is this weird Disney animated cartoon where it's like this girl Luce, who's kind of a weirdo in the regular world, falls into a fantasy dimension, whatever, of the Boiling Isles, and it's like everything she would ever want in a fantasy world, except it's gross and weird and hard.
Okay.
Like it's not this, adventure she thought in her book was going to be like.
It's not Harry Potter.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
It takes all the Harry Potter stuff and then like
makes it weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she lives with this witch called the Owl Lady, and I was like, why do I know her voice? Why do I know her voice? She's BoJack Horseman's mom. But it's good.
She's a fantastic character. She's very much like a Grunkle Stan meets a witch kind of
like Howl from Howl's Moving Castle, but like a junk grifter.
Oh, okay. All right.
She's one of those cartoon characters that's just as good of a good example as she is a bad example type of situation.
Yeah.
She's a role model while also being an anti-role model all at the same time.
Okay, yeah. So a Grunkle Stan.
Yeah. There's like wanted posters for her like all over the place, and it's mostly just because she's weird. And like the warden of like the jail or whatever was like in love with her. That's the only reason he wanted to arrest her, because he wanted to go on a date. It's odd. I mean, the art style is very clean. It's very pleasing to look at, but also at the same time, like some of the stuff is just really gross to look at.
Okay.
I think it takes it a little bit to really hit its stride, but it's very, very good. It's an excellent show.
I heard they might do like a prequel series where it like talks about like Owl Lady's like past.
That'd be cool. I know they're only doing 2 seasons of this particular
3
run.
There's 3.
I thought it was just 2.
It's 3. At least that's what Wiki says when I looked it up.
I know the season that's going now is the last one, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's a good show. Samantha and I went to the Toledo Museum of Art over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ooh, got some culture up in here.
Yeah, which is not in our usual wheelhouse, but it was very cool. We went because there was a special exhibit called Supernatural America, full of art inspired by ghosts and UFOs and that kind of stuff.
So like maybe like American cryptids kind of thing.
Yeah. And it was really cool. Some really good supernatural themed art, and they had like old artifacts from like the spiritualism days, like old Ouija boards and like goggles that you can wear to see people's auras or whatever.
Oh, right on.
Like some like Aleister Crowley kind of level stuff.
No, unfortunately not that old.
Oh.
Well, I guess that is the same time, but they didn't have any Crowley-esque stuff, but they did have, Ouija boards and pendulums and the kind of stuff that you use.
Like you'd see like it's like old seances.
Yeah, seance stuff. Exactly. That's
nice.
Exactly what it was. And some UFO stuff, some outsider art by a dude that thought he was abducted by aliens and like desperately had to get this information to people. Like one of those situations.
Ah, one of those. Okay.
It's really really weird feeling to look at it and see like the desperation this guy had.
Yeah. Huh.
Like, it was really good stuff though, and it's free to get into the museum. The Supernatural exhibit was an extra $10 for regulars, $5 if you're a college student.
Oh, cool.
And the rest of the museum is very good too. It's a really good art museum. Almost, I would say it's better than the one in Columbus, because we have gone to that one not too long ago too.
Jordan's told me that museum is really good. She went to Toledo, so yeah, she's been there a handful of times, and she's told me it's really good.
It's
so I've been meaning to go.
Surprisingly good for being, it's in Toledo of all places. It's like an hour and a half drive from here. It's worth the trip. It's really cool.
Well, awesome.
I mean, they had some Monets and some Matisse and Mondrian, like some actually like really cool stuff.
That's awesome.
I want to go to that Van Gogh exhibit that's coming to Columbus.
I've been seeing a lot of ads for that. I would also like to go to that for sure.
They had stuff you don't normally see in an art museum. Like they had furniture pieces. And a lot of like pots and sculptures. They had an Egyptian area that had Egyptian artifacts in it that you'd normally see in like a history museum.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Like I do remember, like in art class and stuff, we would study a lot of like Egyptian whatnot, mostly as like a history of like the style or the perspective or whatever.
They got full-on sarcophaguses in there.
Nice. As a kid, I went through a pretty big phase.
I think we all did. Honestly,
Egyptian
I did
cool.
too.
It was like, oh, this is all awesome stuff.
I mean, between like stuff like with the Mummy franchise and like the Mummy's Alive cartoon and just all that stuff, it like really like. I don't know, something about the mystique of that era, I guess.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But also, you go back and think about like all the history that was destroyed by like, Victorian England.
Yeah, well, they ate all those mummies.
Or burned them.
Yeah.
Burned them for train fuel.
Yeah.
They would seriously eat mummies, though. I'm not joking.
Oh, sure,
yeah. Yeah.
But if you have any interest in art at all, like, go.
Worth checking out.
It's cool.
Cool.
I always wanted to go down to the Justice Friends compound in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Cincinnati
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
It's a history museum.
All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get into some news.
This is Gail Martin.
Hi, this is Carol Kelly. We'd like to invite you to join us for our gardening and outdoors show here on WZMO. We talk about observations and insights about what's happening from week to week with plants and animals in the woods and fields around us, as well as what's going on in the garden.
In the Green Outdoors airs Saturdays and Mondays at about 9:30 a.m., right after the second cup. We hope you'll join us.
Hello, I'm Greg Dunham, the host of Long Play here on WZMO. I just wanted to take a minute to assure our many fans and listeners that my staff and I take our job seriously here at WZMO. We will always strive to bring only the highest quality audio entertainment to you and yours. Who am I kidding? We just grab whatever album's on top of the stack. Join us every Friday at 11 p.m. and Saturday at 3 p.m. for Long Play. Tune in to see what we've come up with this week. Catch us every weekend right here on WZMO.
Hey, we're back. That was not music.
Not music, not anymore. How many weeks in a row can we
Get away with this gag?
How we don't do music anymore?
That was not Bon Jovi.
Never Bon Jovi.
Hey, don't invoke that. Don't invoke that.
Yeah.
You can't even say his name. You have to bleep his name out.
Yeah. All right, so hey, let's go ahead and get into some news.
It's Morphin' time!
Yeah.
I added the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Time.
It's Morphin' time!
Oh man, how serious he sounded.
He does. He's putting on the tough guy voice big time.
Oh yeah, that's one of the tough guy ones that I found. There's a YouTube video that is 24 minutes of every time someone said it's Morphin' time from the first 3 seasons. And it's over and over and over again. And there's one point where Billy says, it's time to do a molecular transformation. And they cut it like right after that to Jason yelling, it's Morphin' time. Like he's like yelling at him for saying it wrong.
Shut up, nerd.
Yeah. I also added this.
The Vulcan skull theme.
That's right. So from now on, if someone does something goofy, if we're telling a stupid story, you're getting the Vulcan skull theme.
I'm surprised you don't have like the Oscars like wrap it up music on there when we rant.
No, as far as I am concerned, that is the wrap up music.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some stuff. So the first thing we have on the docket is a new trailer for the next Disney Plus Marvel series, What If? and this is an animated series that takes place in like parallel alternate timelines kind of thing.
It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's just writers going, what if?
I mean, it's a long-standing comic tradition, Marvel tradition of having the what if storylines. Like, what if Peter Parker didn't get bit by the spider? What if this, that, or the other?
Yeah, so it's almost like a butterfly effect kind of thing, where if something happened just a little bit differently, how would the timeline change? And like you mentioned, it's been a comic staple for a very long time, much like the DC's Elseworlds. And there is this trailer shows a little more of what some of the vignettes are. And when the show was originally announced, I thought it was going to be like an episodic kind of thing, but this trailer almost made it seem like it is an interconnected. It's still mostly episodic, but it has an interconnected storyline following a version of Doctor Strange and the Watcher.
Oh, so it focuses on those two?
It looks like Doctor Strange might
be in the multiverse,
might realize it's multiversal, or knows something's not right because a lot of these bits of history have been changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Doctor Strange is talking directly to the Watcher is a galactic being who lives on the dark side of the moon, who is charged with the task of watching history play out, but never interfering. Although he interferes like constantly.
I mean, there's multiple.
Ignore me.
Yeah, that's what they were parodying. In Adventure Brothers.
I mean, we have seen the Watchers in the movies.
Yes.
Once.
Yes, the bunch of Watchers were talking to Stan Lee
in a spacesuit
in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they were bouncing through wormholes.
Yeah, they were warping through space.
Yeah. So what were some of the what-ifs that we saw in this particular trailer?
Well, there was a version of a change in the events from Captain America, the First Avenger, where Peggy Carter is the super soldier instead of Steve Rogers.
Captain Carter.
Or, or a take on Captain Britain. It's hard to say who. I think she calls her Captain Carter.
And because of that, there's an Iron Man in World War II that is piloted by a sickly Steve Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, or just not powered up Steve Rogers.
Right.
And there's a what if Killmonger saved Tony Stark
from
in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Basically, Iron Man never happened.
But also, Killmonger just picks up a rocket and just chucks it like he's a super soldier. So, like, is he
that one might actually tie into?
Is he the Black Panther?
That one might tie into the Black Panther part of it, because there's another bit where T'Challa was picked up by the Ravagers instead of Peter Quill, and he's the Star-Lord.
He would be a better Star-Lord.
Yeah, he would.
I would rather watch that reality.
Yeah. So I guess in that reality, T'Challa doesn't have powers. Killmonger is the king of Wakanda, and maybe he and Tony work together for technological reasons or something like that.
Maybe. Or maybe he just didn't become a villain?
Maybe,
Killmonger's story changed a little bit.
Yeah. There's also a bit hinting at Marvel Zombies, which is a big line of comics.
Yep.
There was a Howard the Duck in there.
There was a Howard the Duck. Doctor Strange looked like he was wearing more of like another Venture Brothers reference. He was wearing a Dracula medal and looked like what's his name?
He's basically Doctor Strange anyway.
Yeah, what's his name from Venture Brothers?
Dr. Orpheus.
Dr. Orpheus, yeah.
He's my favorite Venture Brothers character,
yes.
I think.
Speak from us beyond the grave!
Oh, man, I love him.
Mm.
And his, what was his super team, like the Trinity or whatever?
The Triad.
The Triad, yeah.
The Alchemist and the Blackula Hunter.
Yeah. Lucius Knight, Blackula Hunter?
Yeah.
Specifically hunting black vampires.
It always made me laugh because, like, the Alchemist's voice is voiced by the same guy who does Master Shake from Aqua Teen.
Yeah,
that's all I ever hear.
Dana Snyder.
When I hear his voice.
Yeah. But no, Marvel What If, it looks really, really good, and it looks like they got a lot of the actors from the movies. Not all, but
like
a lot
surprising number. Like,
Chris Hemsworth was right there.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. That was him.
That was him.
it?
That was him.
That did not sound like him.
Yeah, it sounded off.
I'm pretty sure it's him. I'm pretty sure I read it was him.
That sounded like Tom Hanks's brother, who does all of the Woody lines for Kingdom Hearts instead of Tom Hanks. I mean, they got almost everyone. I'd almost guarantee that's Killmonger because he loves anime anyway.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin is Thanos.
Okay.
Dominic Cooper came back as Howard Stark. Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher, I guess.
Jeffrey Wright. That name sounds really familiar.
God, they got Karen Gillan.
Oh, he was on I know him from a bunch of stuff. He's on Westworld, the TV show. He was like the main creator of the robots. He was in the second Hunger Games movie where he was one of the two techno people, like former survivors, and he was one of the main villains in the Shaft reboot starring Sam Jackson.
I'm not seeing Robert Downey Jr.
I'm not seeing him either.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like him. It sounds close, but it doesn't sound...
Apparently Korg's going to be in it, though.
Well, sure. Of course.
Taserface is coming back.
Nice. The return of Taserface. Anyway, this show looks great. I hope people give it a chance. I know there is a stigma against things that are animated, especially when the main like MCU fan who is maybe not as familiar with the comics.
I mean, it looks like they got everybody who ever played a character in the movies in here.
And that's awesome. That's great. But, you know...
There's a subset of people who, you know, loved WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and is enjoying Loki right now, who is not going to watch this because it's animated, and that sucks.
And that's a shame. Yeah.
And it's a really interesting look, too, because it's got like that whole CGI cel-shaded...
It's very cel-shaded. It looks really neat.
They actually apparently used a new kind of rotoscoping for some of it.
That's probably why it looks so fluid.
I can believe it. Yeah, I can believe it.
And they can take, like, scenes from the other movies and rotoscope over them to make them...
Oh, that's why that one shot
exactly
from the first Avengers movie looks so good.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Interesting. Because I was going to say, it looks a lot like... do you remember that movie, A Scanner Darkly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of similar cel-shaded rotoscoping kind of animation. Looks cool. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm down. I just know it's not going to do as well as the other ones, though, because it's animated, and then they won't want to do another one, because this is the lowest rated one of the bunch, and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
The things you're watching now are basically animated.
well, you know what they can do to guarantee that people watch this? Have it intrinsically tied to the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
That's all they have to do.
Which it might.
Which it very well might. Yeah, it very well could be. Along with that, there's another trailer. Is this another Disney thing?
Yes, it's Disney.
Okay, so Encanto.
Encanto.
Sorry, I just heard about this thing today, so I don't know much about it.
It's the next Disney film. It's set in Colombia, I guess, and it's about a magic house or a family.
Yeah, I think a magic family.
Yeah.
Magic family that lives in a magic house, and they're one normal...
Yeah, the one daughter doesn't have they keep calling it the gift. She doesn't have a special power.
They're basically mutants.
She's the Marilyn.
Yeah, of the monsters. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But you know there's going to be a twist, and she's the most powerful one of all because of...
Heart or family.
Family.
Yeah. Family.
I mean, it looks pretty. It looks interesting.
It looks like a 3D Disney film.
Yeah. It's got music by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and that guy can do a good song.
The main character is played by Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And she's cool.
Rosa. And,
she's my favorite character on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, she's great. Yeah.
I just heard about it today, too, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, I want to see more of it. There wasn't enough meat on that trailer.
There wasn't much, and...
See, that's the thing, like, I hate it when trailers give you too much, but, I mean, this definitely felt like a tease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want too much in your trailer, but you also don't want anything to grab onto.
Right. I hope that this movie has some kind of twist, because right now, my brain is almost filling out beat for beat what this film's going to be. It's like, oh, this daughter, she's normal, and then something happens to the family and she has to go save her magic family, or something happens to the magic in her family so they all become normal and they don't know how to function, so she has to go on an adventure to
reinstate the magic or whatever.
Find the magic for her family, and along the way discover things about herself that she didn't already know.
Fight the Dick Dastardly that stole the magic.
Also, might be a skeleton somewhere.
No, that's Coco.
Oh, that's Coco. Yeah,
It's just chock full of skeletons.
Spooky skeletons.
That movie rules.
I
Coco
love
was
that movie.
very good.
I do love that movie very much.
But like, there's got to be a twist, because I can see, with not knowing anything about it, I could almost see the plot beats.
I mean, Disney is pretty predictable.
Especially they're 3D animated. They all kind of hit that same
like when
kind
Frozen 2 came out and I was watching, I was like,
it's Frozen 1.
I called the ending. I called the ending like straight up.
Frozen 2 should have had other people with powers and say like, oh yeah, here's a wind guy and here's like a fire lady or something like that.
I heard that movie was like in development hell and they could not figure out what to do with it.
And the answer was almost nothing.
Yeah, and that's how we ended up with what we got, which I still have never watched.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not great. The songs aren't as good.
Though they do throw a little shade at Let It Go, and it kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I mean, that was the banger of the year.
Yeah.
Like, not just Disney song wise, like
but
that
just
song
in general.
was just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to this day I'll hear like that piano riff and I'm like, no.
Like there was no way they could have a follow up on that, because there's no way they were gonna ever match that again, I don't think.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That was kind of lightning in a bottle kind of thing. All right, so let's move on to something else. What is next on the list?
Well, we got to talk about the new Switch model.
Oh, do we?
The Switch Pro? No, it's not the Switch Pro.
The Switch OLED.
Yeah, they announced a new revision of the Switch. It's not the Switch 2.0. It's not substantially different.
Yeah, it's not the Switch Pro. It doesn't run games
in 4K.
It doesn't have any extra horsepower. It's just got a bigger, nicer screen and better speakers.
Yeah, and a little bit better battery. It has the battery revision from the last
and a slightly larger hard drive.
Yeah.
Internal memory. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not a hard drive.
Well,
yeah.
Internal memory.
And most importantly, the dock has integrated Ethernet, which is something it should have had from the beginning. These are not...
It's not going to make Smash Brothers not play like garbage, though.
This is not quality of life. This is fixing things that should have been there in the first place.
And also, they're still not fixing the Joy-Cons.
No.
Nope, they're the same.
Yeah, because they can't admit that there was a problem, or they have court problems.
Yeah.
They'll get into legal trouble if they admit there was something wrong.
Yeah.
So those are the same.
Oh, and it's got a better kickstand.
Who cares? I never used that kickstand. Not ever once, not even once.
If you do, it sucks.
Sure, I believe it.
The standard Switch kickstand,
it's like a little stick almost.
It feels like it's going to break every time you use it.
Yeah,
so it
and
was a smart move.
Now it has like almost that...
it's like an iPad kind of flat back kind
notebook
of thing.
Pro, whatever.
The Microsoft Surface.
Yes, that's the one.
I'm surprised they didn't jam a stylus in there somewhere.
I'm sure that's going to be on the next version. This really, really feels like there's a... Okay, so in the tech world right now, there's a chip shortage.
Tell me about it.
It is difficult to get integrated graphics cards. It's tough to get computer parts right now. This feels like Nintendo... in a perfect world, would have been announcing the Switch Pro, but due to the chip shortage, they had to come up with something. This is something.
Yeah.
There are some people
could have waited.
Well, it's been 4 years. There are some people like my Switch I have currently. I got a day and date at release. It's 4.5 years old. That's old for
electronics.
For electronics these days, as much as I hate to admit it. There's some people online that are really kind of ticked off about this thing. I don't see it being that big of a deal, mostly because Nintendo has a history of having incremental refreshes on their hardware. Look at the 3DS.
There was 3 different Game Boy Advances.
Yeah, there's 3 different Game Boy Advances. There's the Game Boy Micro. There was the 3DS, the 3DX XL, the 2DS, the new 3DS. the new 3DS XL, and then the new 2DS XL, all with incremental form factor changes.
And there was
and
the DS and the DSi and the DSi XL. Like, it's just a normal thing they do.
It's just what they do. Primarily, they do it with their handhelds instead of their home consoles.
But the Switch is both.
The Switch is both, so it gets that. What I think is this is a great system for someone who doesn't have the Switch and has been looking for it.
It would definitely be worth the $50 extra price that it is.
That's the other thing that I have an issue with, though. I don't understand why they don't put this out for the cost of the Switch and then reduce the price of the
old one.
Old one by $50.
Well, because
to
they don't
slowly
have to.
phase out. But that seems like that would be the better model instead of charging you $50 extra for a just tiny hair better screen.
I mean, actually, OLED screens are really nice.
Oh, really?
So it's going to be more than a hair.
Okay.
The original PlayStation Vita had an OLED screen, and it was really nice.
Okay. When it comes down to, I'm not going to get this revision. I'll wait for the Switch Pro. I did hear that they are going to be selling the dock separate as its own standalone thing, and I might pick up the dock because it will work with the older Switches. It has better ventilation, so you don't have the overheating problem. And yeah, the integrated Ethernet is going to be nice. It's one less thing to be plugged into the dock. That for $80 or whatever.
They did take away one of the USB ports.
Oh, they did. Well, that still whatever.
It's got two, and I only use one all the time.
Yeah,
to charge my Pro controller.
Yeah, but like it's fine.
I can't decide if I'm going to get it or not.
No,
the only way I'm getting it is
Cody. You know what you're going to do.
The only way I do it is if my Switch broke.
That's not the Switch I have. Is not my day and date Switch either. I got another one when they put in the battery.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to play around with homebrew stuff on the old one. So
Makes sense.
So I did buy it. That's not my first Switch, and I'll probably end up buying this one. I want that Metroid Dread to look as good as it can because I'm very excited about it.
I mean, Metroid is your favorite franchise.
Yeah. So, okay, when they come out with the Switch Pro, what would you like to see on it? I think this is a kind of a discussion to see. Like, what can they do outside of, the battery life and the OLED? Because that's going to be on the Switch Pro anyway, because it's on this next revision. What would you like to see?
A second screen. Like, it'd be kind of cool. If it was a clamshell with a second screen so you could play DS games on it.
That would be neat, but how would you play it docked to TV?
It would fold up, and then like the dock would be wider.
But I mean, how would you use the second screen on your TV?
Oh.
That's true. Then you couldn't, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the Wii U gamepad where they put one screen on there and one screen on the pad because it's in the dock. So that's right out of no, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Unless the second screen is detachable.
Unless it's detachable. Yeah, there we go.
Or what if there's no front on the dock and it's angled back and it slides down there almost like a stand? And for games that utilize the second screen, it would activate the second screen on the Switch itself, and you had your main screen on your TV.
It'd be hard to see from the couch.
Well, I don't play games from my couch anyway. So.
The things that I would look for, I'm not necessarily one of those guys that needs it to be in 4K. I don't care about that. My eyes don't see 4K anyway. It's
same.
Yeah, I don't see much of a difference. I would like to see a little bit beefier, hard, like
a better
processor, so that
graphics card. Please.
Yeah, so Age of Calamity doesn't look like garbage. I would love it to play at 30 frames per second. I don't care if it's 1080 or 720p. I don't care. Just have it play at a consistent frame rate. And the other thing that I would like more than anything, and I don't understand why this hasn't been done yet. I mean, I kind of understand, but I don't understand. It has Bluetooth. Why can I not pair wireless headphones when it's undocked?
Without buying some kind of dongle.
Why? Everything is right there. It is one software upgrade away from working, and Nintendo will not do it. I understand why they don't want to have nefarious third-party things syncing to their devices. Whatever. Give me an opportunity to not have to have wired headphones. Let me just put my earbuds in, sync to it, and go. That's all.
Because every Nintendo system has to have just like one thing that's wrong with it.
I guess, and that is kind of it.
Game Boy Advance SP didn't have a headphone jack. Game Boy's black and white. The original Game Boy Advance, the screen's impossible to see.
Yeah.
I mean, that backlit screen was like one of the best things they did for the Game Boy Advance.
The Game Boy Advance SP is one of my favorite Nintendo systems they ever did. It's a perfect size. The screen is bright and good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Have you seen where some people like refurbish them with OLED screens?
Yeah.
Yes.
That
I've
is
seen that.
wild.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, if those weren't so expensive, I would definitely have like some kind of tricked out Game Boy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Switch, this just popped in my head. When you get the software up, you know how they do regular software updates. Make sure you go to the eShop into your account settings and turn off the Google AdSense, because they snuck and added Google AdSense, so anything you buy on there sends your data to Google. If you care about your personal data and stuff like that, it's just a checkbox, but they snuck it in without telling anyone, so make sure you do that.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
That's underhanded.
It's
right
not
there.
great. It's not great. So this is a PSA to everyone. Go to the eShop, go to your account, scroll all the way to the bottom, and uncheck the send my data to Google AdSense button.
Got it.
Takes 2 seconds, but
Are they going to start putting Google ads in games?
no, but Google's going to look at every game that you buy, and all of a sudden on Facebook you're going to get ads for all the
Anime dating
tangentially
sims.
related stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah, so do that.
This guy really likes Donkey Kong. Maybe he wants to buy a chimpanzee.
Here's a Donkey Kong body pillow.
Yeah, here's a Donkey
from
Kong
Wish
butt mouse pad.
Hey, I've seen it.
I have to. Yeah.
And he's holding up the one finger from the meme.
That you may touch it once. Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
Which is
too.
a screen grab from that horrible CGI Donkey Kong Country series.
Have you watched any of that?
Oh yeah, it's
Banana
terrible.
Slamma.
Banana Slamma.
Yeah, I
Oh my
watched it when it was on TV back in the
I
day.
did
His
too.
voice is so bad.
I didn't like it then either.
It's even worse now.
Oh, it's terrible.
It has songs in it. And that's one way to get me to check out when I was a kid. Now I don't mind musicals at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I enjoy them. But when I was a kid, if somebody started singing, no.
You think of the era that show came out in, it would look better than it does.
Well, because they were doing it on the cheap.
Oh, I know.
It's a little better than Reboot.
No, it isn't.
I watched a little bit of Reboot on Shout Factory's Twitch
That first season
channel,
of Reboot's
and
pretty
it
rough.
was bad.
Yeah. You're thinking, Josh, I think you're thinking near the end of the series Reboot, after Bob
Comes back
got trapped in internet.
and came back as some kind of white-haired god program.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Enzo had a beard.
Enzo had a beard, and there was a mermaid for some reason.
She got pulled from a game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I remember that episode. She got pulled from a game and became an actual character.
And then they made the Guardian Code.
That Power Ranger ripoff bull crap.
Oh, it's worse.
It's so bad.
It's worse than Power Rangers. It's so much worse.
Oh, I know.
I'm talking about Reboot that was probably on air concurrently with the Donkey Kong cartoon.
But the Donkey Kong probably looks better because they weren't trying to make humans.
That's true.
I don't know. Their faces are so bad.
Oh, it was rough.
Like the way they move and how rough it. Oh, I watched it on YouTube not that long ago, and it's.
None of the characters sound like you would think they would.
No.
Well, maybe Cranky, but
yeah.
He's an old man. That's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
All right, we have time for one last thing. Do you want Optimus Primal or Legos?
Legos.
So there is a new Lego set that's being released, and it is Seinfeld's apartment.
His architecturally impossible apartment.
Yeah.
It's great. It's super good.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I generally don't like the ones that are just like, this is a TV show set, because that's not a very interesting Lego, a guy's apartment.
I mean, I did like the inclusion of the
the lights.
the lights above the studio.
Yeah.
So it's like a set. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
That's
like
really
a movie
good.
set.
Yeah.
Or a TV set.
This is like the third TV show set they've done. They did Big Bang Theory
the apartment.
And they did the Friends cafe.
I mean, and it might
Central
be
Perk.
just because I don't like either of those shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I did notice the little Superman in the back corner.
There's a tiny Superman.
Yeah.
There's a Lego version of that awful George painting or photograph.
It needed the Kramer painting.
It needs the Kramer.
It might
I
be
agree.
in there somewhere.
It
It might
could
be in the hallway. I don't know.
I didn't see a bike hanging on the wall.
It might be back there.
It could
I mean,
be.
the Lego bikes are things that exist.
I know.
But no, it looks really good. It looks interesting. It's
And
like, what,
honestly,
$80 or something?
Yeah, the price point ain't that bad.
Yeah, those Lego Ideas ones can get pretty pricey, and it's just reasonable enough that I'm really considering it.
The ship in the bottle is $60.
Yeah.
And that one makes it's cool on one hand. On the other hand, it's a liar because the piece count is inaccurate.
Oh, it is.
Because they include every individual peg for the water inside the bottle that the ship floats in.
the little single
gotcha.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are Lego pieces, though.
Yeah, but they just sit in there. They're not like...
You're just being pedantic.
I am being pedantic, but it's about the principle of the thing.
Speaking of Lego, the
Yes.
second season of Lego Masters came out.
Oh,
And
is it good?
it's been very good. I loved the first season, and this has been like more of the same.
Oh, good.
Which is fine.
Cool.
They didn't ruin it, and the new cast of reality show people are good.
Cool.
And Will Arnett's still funny. Last week's challenge was very cool. They suspended a 12-piece Technic brick from the air and made them build a model off of that.
Oh,
while it
wow.
was suspended in the air, and it looked really challenging. And a couple people just fell off, and
Yeah.
it's a really good reality show.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to
/
check that out.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, hey, we're actually at the end of the show, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com. Your questions, comments, stuff you want us to talk about, your fan fictions.
Yeah.
Or you
Still waiting on those.
Tasteful fan fictions.
No, give me the nastiest ones you can think of. You can also give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline, 586-372-8020. Leave us a message and we might play it on the show. That felt like not one of the better ones, but anyway.
That's all right.
my
You got
part.
it. You got it. Yeah. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
I want his website to be davidpencil.pencil. Is that a thing he could do?
David.pencil.
David.pencil. That's it.
Yep.